Yeah, I think there's a background noise from your end. This is like a breeze.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are live again. Today we going to be continuing Shine Culture Incubation Program. Already we are uh, entering into the fifth week of the program, and I am so much glad that we are making a great progress. So today's edition, it's still we're still discussing around the drone technology operation. So and our topic for today will be drone codes, flight operations, and crew management. But before we go deep into this, I am going to quickly take us through a briefing of what Precision Field Academy is all about, the organizer of the program. So, okay, let's get going. So, you're welcome to Precision Field Academy. So, at Precision Field Academy, our vision is to create a world where every young person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to become a digitally savvy farmer or agricultural professional, driving sustainable and equitable growth in their communities through the transformative power of technology. And our mission is to raise next gen farmers that are tech inclined and digitally savvy. So, at Precision Field Academy, Precision Field Academy, it's a social enterprise where we train and build the capacity of young professionals in modern and emerging technology for the future of work and to lead with precision agriculture. So, our methodologies, we believe in core three methodology, which is education and knowledge sharing, training and skill development, coaching and mentorship. So, and besides this, we have six tech skills in focus. Number one, which is drone technology. So, we are leveraging the power of drone technology to transform the way agriculture is being practiced, which comes in terms of pest management, disease detection, crop management, and the likes. Also, we have in focus GIS and remote sensing, that geographic information system and remote sensing, which is about collection of data from the space through the aid of satellites, and also the use of drone technology in remote sensing for data collection. We also have part of tech skills, data science in agriculture. This is talking more about how we collect crop crop data in terms of crop plant population evaluation and all of this surrounds around the use of data science in agriculture. So we also have robotics and Internet of Things. This revolves around intelligent systems, robotics, embedded systems that can actually be positioned on your farm um, with pre-programmed instructions that can actually carry out tasks um, even while you're not there. Uh, Having systems like smart irrigation, um, and the likes. Also, we have artificial intelligence and machine learning. So, with the aid of artificial intelligence, you can actually do uh, disease detection, drought prediction, and the likes through the input of data collected from your farm into the systems. Artificial intelligence and machine learning can actually help you predict what might be happening in the future for you to actually take proactive measures, yes, to counter that. And lastly, we have as the end goal is for youths or young people, young professionals to be able to leverage on these skills that have been gathered, on these skills they have been trained on, to actually create a, an enterprise that is focused at solving problems, creating sustainable solutions to terrifying problems in agriculture, basically. So why do we do what we do? What's our motivation? So um, we discovered there is a skill gap to be closed, and young professionals need to build skills, capacity on both the technical part and the enterprise skill for the future of work in agriculture. Also, observing the trend is not enough. Youth does not necessarily need to be amazed by this technology. they actually need to get their hands dirty by getting involved, uh, pioneering these solutions, becoming a player in the fourth agricultural revolution, and not just mere observer. So, and also for African agriculture to thrive effortlessly, for us to actually change the game of agriculture in total. So, technology is the key to unlock the African agricultural potential. Then, why should you join us? The reason why you should join us are simple. One is we are creating the future we want in agriculture, and also you joining us, we connect you to the world of information and opportunities, which comes in terms of scholarship, internship, and volunteership on both local and international scale for your career growth. And also, we believe so much in skill development, uh, project collaboration, research work, community interaction, symposiums, and um, mentorship. So, lastly, you have access to coaching and mentorship from industry leaders and professionals through the platform of Precision Field Academy. So, at Precision Field Academy, we are building a community of young, tech inclined, and digitally savvy farmers and professionals. Thank you. Okay, so for our speaker today, is actually the organizer of the program, Mr. Femi Adekoya. So let me quickly give us a brief of his profile before I call him to the stage. Okay, so Mr. Femi Adekoya is a Nigeria country representative for International Society for Precision Agriculture. He is a plant health scientist by training, an agritech professional and experienced practitioner in the agriculture and horticultural industry with over 12 years experience. He has a strong interest in agricultural innovations and technology. He holds Bachelor of Agriculture from FUNAB, Federal University of Technology, and Masters MSc Integrated Pest Management from Harper Adams University through the prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship by the UK government. He is the founder of Integrated Aero Precision Limited, I Precision, and Enterprise an enterprise spearheading technological innovations in agriculture. He also leads the vision of Precision Field Academy with the mission to raise the next gen tech inclined and digitally savvy farmer. Femi is a UK Civil Aviation Authority certified drone pilot and also a drone data analyst, using UAV and drone data to help farmers and relevant stakeholders adopt and practice precision agriculture. All right, so Mr. Femi, you have the floor, sir. You can come on board.
Oh, I was just told that I was actually muted. Um, Apologies for that. So today, we're actually going to be dealing with the topic of drone code, life operation, and team management. Um, these are actually very important uh, things for us to actually take in this class, and I would hope that you would actually pay excessive attention, to learn from this class. And it is actually very important in terms of when it comes to operation and the professional or responsible pilot. This we cannot actually escape it. You need this knowledge for you to actually be able to excel when it comes to doing piloting and to actually distinguish yourself as somebody who is responsible, somebody who understands the ethics of the operation and who who is capable and competent. Okay, so pay attention as we actually go for this class. Now, I know again, some of you might actually know about, the things, but it is actually safe for us to actually talk about those again. Clearly defining some terms and actually getting some background, understanding. So, what are drones? So, you would actually be hearing different terms for qualified drones, UAV, UAS, RPA, and all that. So, UAV can also be referred to as drones can also be referred to as UAV, and, which means unmanned area vehicles. And they can also be called unmanned or uncrewed area systems. And there's a reason why they are actually called unmanned or uncrewed, because that is actually the defining word. It's actually defining word. Unmanned, that is what actually classifies or uniquely separates drones from every other aircraft, particularly as far as you do not have somebody on board, that is actually doing, something flying an aircraft that has no one on board. So that's why we refer to them as unmanned. And perhaps to make it more inclusive, you can say uncrewed area system. Uncrewed in the sense that you do not have someone on board, controlling the wheels and all that. And systems actually comes in place when you have different gadgets, uh, say the remote controller, you have the charging system, the batteries, RTK or whatever other system you would like to actually attach with the vehicle. And you will see this picture just by the right hand there. You can see that vehicle and you can also see the controller. So that makes a system because you know system comprises different components. Okay, and you can also see people refer to drones as RPA, that's remotely piloted aircraft. So remotely piloted aircraft, you know, it is remote, just like the name, remote totally piloted. That means because there's nobody sitting on board to actually control, the aircraft. It is actually remotely piloted, and it can also be called area robots. Yeah, they're robots. And to actually give you the definition, this is actually a type of aircraft that can be remotely controlled by a human operator on the ground, or they can be programmed to fly autonomously using predetermined flight plan. Now, talking about drones regulation. Why are drones regulated? Or you see the picture regulated. Drones are actually, like I said, they are actually unmanned area technology, and it is actually it is important that there is actually a control or a sensoring with technology. we know that technology can actually be good. I mean, can be used for good and can also be used for ill. So it is actually needed to be regulated. Just like money, money can be good and money can be used for evil. So that is why it is actually being regulated. So these are actually forms of regulation. I mean, on technology, particularly, that needs supervision or censoring or some oversight over. That is why we need to actually, and drone actually happens to be one of these technologies that needs to be regulated, and they are regulated. So more specifically, they are remotely piloted aircraft, like I said. Therefore, this technology actually falls under the aviation class. So it is unmanned area technology, and because of that, they actually fall under the aviation class. And because of that, again, they are regulated. They are regulated. I used to tell my students that the only thing that is actually allowed to fly in the air, that is allowed to actually do anyhow in the air, is the bird or bird, as the case may be. These are actually people, the guys that are actually allowed to actually fly in the airspace, up in the sky, over you, without you, thinking twice or all that. But anything aside from that, uh, you need to actually check you, and that's why we need to actually there's a need for regulation. So, but talking about regulation, who are the agencies or bodies actually in charge of this oversight, in charge of this regulatory assignments or duties? We have from the international to regional and to the local level. So international level, we have the ICAO, that's the International Civil Aviation Organization under the United Nations. They this is actually a particular body that oversees the global drone regulation or aviation regulation in general, to which drone technology actually belongs. We call it unmanned aerial vehicles. So we also have in Africa, we want to actually bring it home in terms of regional. I know that the European Union also has that. The name skips my mind now. Well, they also have something for the EU. They also have across. So in Africa, we have the Civil Aviation African Civil Aviation Commission, and in Nigeria, we have the Nigerian Civil Aviation authority. Of course, in the UK also has its own local civil aviation authority. That's the UK Civil Aviation Authority. That's the UKCAA. Nigeria is NCAA, as you can see. And I also pick out an example from East Africa, which is Kenya. We have South Africa, different names. Um, Kenya has the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. So everybody with their name. They have also in Australia, depending on what they call themselves. So, but it is actually important for you to actually know that there are actually regulatory bodies that actually guide the operation of drones, or guide the operation, the technology, and heavy related matters, drone technology. So these are the bodies, I mean these are the local ones are actually examples. So you can actually, depending on where you're actually joining from, you can actually make your research. To Ghana, Malawi, Rwanda, they all have, these countries all have their civil aviation body. Okay, in the US, they are actually called the Federal Aviation Administration. That's the FAA. Okay, so let's go ahead. What's actually the essence of regulation, or why are drones actually being regulated? Why? There has to be a reason why they're actually drones are actually regulated. There's a reason, and this reason is actually important for us to actually know. So I classify the reasons um, in three categories. First is actually safety concern is because drones Um, safety to you, safety to us means a lot of things. Safety can actually be ambiguous, but safety is actually things. Safety is something that is um, that is actually very important to everybody. You want to actually keep yourself safe. That's why you eat good. You want to actually keep yourself safe. That's why you have shelter. You want to actually keep yourself safe. That is why you do some things. You actually put some things in place. So and but how does drones actually interfere with safety, or what is the nexus between drones and safety, to either to property or to humans or to the environment? Safety is actually very, very important. Safety concerns regarding yeah, I mentioned safety to your property, safety to yourself, safety to the environment. So concerns around uh, the propeller, it can be hazardous, when it is actually moving and it hits you uh, at, at a very high speed. The impact is actually could actually be disastrous, or or I don't want to use, it can actually be something that you will not want to actually occur. So, um, in terms of the impact of the collision, uh, in terms of um, many reasons. Maybe the drone falling on you, collision, and all that. So safety is actually very important. Or perhaps you are actually using the agricultural drone, using the spray. I will be conscious about the environment. What are you spraying? What are you carrying? Are you actually using the drone to actually spray something that is not safe for the environment? We need to actually look at that too. So our property, you actually, what if the drone actually, um, you know, um, eats my property or something precious to me, or causing damage to human beings and whatever. You can think about these scenarios. You can think about these scenarios. Trust me, you can keep thinking about these scenarios. It's all about safety. Okay. And we also have the ethical issues. Because the essence of drone regulation is to actually protect uh, for ethical reasons. Okay? Ethical reasons will then come maybe in terms of property, in terms of privacy, in terms of what is right, what is right, should we consider as a norm, what is acceptable in society, what professional ethics and conduct. So this is why we need to actually regulate, maybe to actually avoid confusion, to actually avoid to actually avoid, how do I explain? I want to give another highlight, to avoid mistakes, to avoid confusion, complications, things that can actually generate into what is actually in the So ethics can actually be how we actually do stuff. So best practices, all of these things are all under ethics. Now, I actually put the last. It's actually the last actually encompasses everything. Being responsible. It is important for us to actually be responsible. Be responsible. When it comes to the use of drone technology, we have to be responsible. Responsible to the law, particularly. Being responsible comes by being responsible to the law of the land. You are actually following the regulation, you are actually following the law, how the government says you want things to be done. So yeah, that is why they are actually being regulated, so that to keep us responsible, you can be able to answer to your give answer, be responsible for your action. That is why we have regulation. Regulations can then generate into laws, and to which we would go on later in this. But there's something I'm not so sure if this is clear to you on the screen. There's something on that screen that it is in red. It says it is your responsibility to know the guiding regulations. Wherever you are, whatever country you are, whatever region you are, you have to actually know. the guiding regulation, and you are responsible for flying safely in the most ethical manner when you fly a drone. You are actually responsible. If as far as you are actually flying the drone, as far as you are responsible. You are responsible for whatever you do. Okay, please note this. Now, talking about drone codes, there's something I actually learned from my primary school, like codes and conduct. Okay, so yeah, I mean that's why I actually named it drone codes, codes and conduct. What are the drone codes? And I would say the codes are actually how we should, uh, behave ourselves or conduct ourselves, our moderation, uh, how we should be guided, and that's actually simply drone regulation. How should things be done? What are the codes? Number one, um, you need to maintain what we call visual line of sight. So now, visual line of sight, you can actually shorten it as VLOS, 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 visual line of sight. Now, visual line of sight actually means keeping your drone in direct sight and having full view of the surrounding environment. So you would actually, this is actually the law. You need to actually have a clear view of your drone. You need to be able to see. Uh, you're not guessing like where is the drone. You can be able to say this is where my drone is particularly. So visual line of sight is very, very important for you to actually maintain. It is actually the code and conduct. And you also have a very clear a clear surrounding or environment around your drone. You must be able to see your drones without the aid of binoculars, a telephoto lens, electronic viewing equipment such as smartphone, tablets, or you know, things I have. I guess there is a question. Okay, yeah, it is there. Thank you. Oh, I wasn't looking at that. Okay, so well, it is actually fine if you are like me. Sometimes that I actually use my glasses, so you can actually use your normal glasses or contact, uh, or not like an extended uh, gadget and all that. You need to actually maintain that. So if you look at the diagram just by the right side, it says always keep your drone or model aircraft in direct sight. It is actually very, very important for you to actually keep your drone in direct sight, so that you can be able to see clearly. Um, and if you actually see what I actually wrote down there, no sight, no flight. So you have to know this, no sight, no flight. Secondly, and this is important for you to know, flying your drones below 400 feet, or what you can convert to 120 meters. You must fly your drone not more than 400 feet or 120 meters. So ensure to fly your drone below the legal limit. So this is actually the legal limit. So if you're actually flying beyond that, you will have yourself to actually answer for it, and that is being responsible. So it is actually important for you to actually note this. To avoid, there's a reason for that. Okay, to avoid the risk of collision with other aircraft, which normally fly higher than this. Other aircraft like maybe your manned aircraft, helicopters, commercial aircraft, carrying people from one point to another, um, or maybe any aerodrome, So always look and listen out for other aircraft that may be flying below 120 feet. So while you're actually maintaining below 120 meters, rather 120 meters, you're actually paying attention to an emergency might actually be happening, maybe an air ambulance or police helicopter, that may actually be flying at a very low, even below 120 meters. You can you will need to actually excuse them. Well, I need to actually tell you when it comes to the headspace and when it comes to technology flying the headspace, um, your drone is actually a second class citizen, even if I would say maybe a third class citizen. Um, yeah, as far as there is a manned aircraft there, you need to actually respect that space for them. Maybe you need to actually take a decision to actually avoid, avoid them by landing, by going far away, yeah, as the case may be. Yeah, the diagram there is also painted so well. So 120 just at the surface of the head. So just from anywhere you have on the surface of the head, 120 meters above, I mean, you should not fly beyond the 120 meters. Okay? So either you're on the hill or on the valley or on the mountain, do not fly close to people less than 50 meters. Now, um, ensure to keep a minimum horizontal distance between, the drone and people. This includes people, buildings, and vehicles. It's very important to actually have this in mind. This will create a no-fly zone around people. So that horizontal distance will mean that imagine you have a circle around people so that you cannot actually fly into. So that's the like a 50-meter radius minimum that you have to use for people that are actually not involved in your flight. This rule is, it's actually with the intention of people that are actually not under your control. Okay, or you have their consent. Never fly over people who are crowded together. It's actually never. Examples of places where people are actually crowded are actually marketplaces, shopping malls, crusades, religious gatherings, political gatherings. It's not actually important for you to actually fly. I know there are a lot of questions coming up already. So we will get to actually solve that at the end of the class. Okay. It is also important for you to actually maintain a minimum of 5 kilometers, away from airports, estates, or or on aircraft where they take off, where they land. All of this is very important. You never fly on the airport. This thing can actually be, can be dangerous, and that is why the codes and conduct are there. There are different airspace classifications ranging from the air class A to G class. I'm not going to go into details of this, but you need to know that drones are only allowed to fly within the class C airspace. So class D is actually an uncontrolled airspace or drone laws they apply. So it's uncontrolled doesn't mean that you can do anyhow, fly above 120 and be, be confident. Not sure. So, but there are actually different airspace. For example, an airport area is actually a restricted airspace for you to actually fly. You need serious permission, and that is not your route to actually fly. It is very very necessary because you can actually ground aircraft that are actually in business, carrying people, safety, people traveling, when you're not flying drones, interfering the traffic or interfering air traffic, that can actually be dangerous, and it can actually be consequential legacy. So the next one is obey and flying restriction. Obey any flying restriction and check for adapt. Sometimes, just like you have road signs, some places can actually have the signs, no drone zone. So you need to actually check. You need to actually be aware when you see the sign. Please, it means that don't take off here. Please don't fly over here. Don't take off here. Um, you know, and this no-fly zone can actually be prisons, military zones, government buildings, palace. Places are actually, that that. So you need to actually, oh yes, so you need to actually pay attention. Yeah, if you might have read or heard that Joe was actually used for prison break, and this is why things like this are actually prohibited. There are no fly zones, so that you do not implicate yourself. Um, so um, this is why things are actually deregulated. This is one of things you need to do. Look out for no fly signal or local time. Now, about flying at night. They're actually not allowed basically to actually fly at night. Except you actually have exemption. So basically, it is the law that you do not fly at night. The reason being that at night, it poses a lot of risk. It poses a lot of risk. So do not actually fly at night. These are actually basic. Don't pose and conduct. And you need to actually get the right specialization before flying outside of this code. And sometimes even within the code, you want to actually fly beyond 120 meters. You need to actually have the consent of the aviation authority or perhaps an authorized club or association or agency. That's what I mean. So for you to actually do this. So it is very, very important. Um, yeah, I know that many of you have questions around this code. There are actually exemptions, so that's why you need to actually get these exemptions. So basically, you should not be breaking this code. Now, let's talk about human factor more into detail and or have some gist about human factors. Human factor. You might have actually heard about this thing that so hey, so hey, so I know that some of you were actually on the field last week. There was actually an error. Yeah, it happened. So hey, but the question is, how can we prevent? There are some errors that can be grave. There are some errors that can be very, very costly and very, very expensive. There are some errors that might actually cost you beyond, uh, you know, the the view that you have actually viewed your client or what you are actually currently doing. So, yeah, but how do we mitigate against this error? And that's why we are actually talking about like dealing with human factor. So, human factor actually has a very great influence when it comes to accidents, and not only in drone flight operations, although that's what we are focusing on, even in driving, the driving normal car on the road vehicle, you know, many of the accidents that actually happen, it's actually, I can say more than 90%, and being modest, are actually due to uh, error from human, negligence, forgetfulness, um, you know, something that might just happen. But you have to still trace it back to human factor. Something was not done. Oh, you forgot to add something. Human factor. So now the question is, how can we mitigate against this error? Nobody actually says to say, it doesn't matter if it was your first time of actually doing it. An error can actually cost you life. So we want to actually be careful about human factor. And that's why we are this human error. That's why we are talking about human factor. The human interaction between equipment, the environment, and other people. That's what we call human factor. That interaction between our equipment, be it your gadget, your phone, your iPad, your controller, that interaction either before the flight, in flight, or even post flight. The environment also and other people around. So that interaction is actually what we call human factor. Now, in human factor, because I need to actually highlight this, what is called airmanship. Airmanship. So, airmanship is actually the quality of a good pilot. The quality of a good pilot. Airmanship is the quality of a good pilot. Okay, note that. Um, and so when we actually talk about good, is a good airmanship. When we say pilot has a good airmanship, is a distinguished airman, pilot or a remote pilot, like drone pilot, or it means that this guy has very good quality. I mean, it has a very good quality, uh, taking things into consideration. So such as hazard or risk assessment. Take Obara Jakungo, friend and a colleague in the industry have actually taken us to risk assessment, go or no go, assessing risks before flight, in flight, and actually also classifying risks based on severity and all that. So I'm not going to go deep into that, but you can actually find the lecture recorded already. So talking about human factor, we need to actually consider this. I've actually mentioned about hazard or risk assessment. Aircraft worthiness. So you need to actually know your aircraft. Is my aircraft actually worthy to actually go on this mission? What can it do? What can it not do? It is actually very, very important for us to actually know that. And that would actually prevent issues from actually happening. The aircraft worthiness. Is this aircraft worthy to actually fly? Is this aircraft worthy to actually um, um, deliver a safe operation? Can we actually go and come back with this thing? Can we actually go fly this thing? Yeah, even though we come back with it, it's not actually causing any damage to property, to humans, to the environment. So aircraft worthiness is actually very important for us to actually pay attention to when it comes to human factors. Now, pilot fitness. I know that some of these things are actually what about actually talked about and mentioned. Pilot fitness, pilot fitness. How fit are you? You also have to ask yourself, am I fit to actually go on this mission? Can I actually control the drone? Am I confident to actually get the controls? This are questions you need to actually ask as a good airman. So pilot fitness, it's very, you need to actually ask yourself. And my friend Obara actually mentioned that you need to actually reach aviation doctor, your friend, and answering that question is actually dependent on an aviation medical professional. And you can also assess yourself, by the way. You can also be sincere to actually, before you go to the field, before you actually go on an operation, you need to actually assess yourself. You are mentally stable, physically fit, and emotionally balanced. Okay, planning. This is where the flight, in-flight, and post-flight checklist actually comes in. So before you actually go on site, to actually prevent errors, planning actually is very, very important. Are you able to plan the flight before you leave? Oh, you are not actually forgetting your memory card. Oh, your SD card. You're actually not forgetting vital things, but you're actually planning before. You are also uh, done some supply checks about the environment. Who am I flying? You've asked the client, you've asked yourself, what's the level of the top on the field? Are there trees around the field? How fast are they? How many trees? How many obstacles do we have? Those actually goes into planning because you need to actually have them all settled before you actually take off. So the planning, and while you also take off too, you are actually mentally calculating how to actually maneuver, um, you know, um, around obstacles, be it autonomously or manually. You have actually planned all of these things out, in terms of your flight planning. You are actually clear about where you're going to be passing, how high you're going to be flying, to actually avoid obstacles. Are these obstacles necessary to actually be paid attention to? These things are actually very important. And while you actually done with flight, you're also checking again, okay, are we safe? Is everything fine? yeah, before you go to the field, or and also while you're also flying your drone, weather is actually very, very important. You're also taking weather into consideration. There are applications that gives you 1 week weather forecast or 24 hours weather forecast, in the day, and you say, okay, it's going to be raining, so we are not going to be flying. It's going to be windy, we cannot be able to fly. These things actually come into planning. You are able to access the reach, you are able to access the weather, the meteorology, and now the situational awareness. So, excuse me. Okay, let's talk about situational awareness. Situational awareness actually, if I would say it in three phrases. I don't know. One, it simply means you assessing what has happened, the past, what is happening, the present, and what might happen. That's the future. For you to actually have full situational awareness, your ability to be able to conceptualize uh, what has happened, to understand, to be able to understand the implication, to be able to understand, uh, you know, things, situations surrounding a particular happening. That is actually what we call situational awareness. And as a competent drone pilot or a pilot in command, you need to actually maintain situational awareness. You need to actually put structures in place to ensure you have situational awareness, which means the past, what has happened. Okay? What has happened? Just happened. What is happening presently? And assessing what is happening presently can just be by a few seconds. Few seconds. If it is to actually give a command, if it is to actually make a shout, if it is to actually quickly land your drone for a manned aircraft to actually pass through, if it is to actually uh, mitigate an accident that is actually coming. Or perhaps some things have actually gotten out of your hands, and as a pilot, and how do you actually salvage the situation? You need to actually make that decision. You need to actually accept what has happened, what is happening presently, and what might happen in the future. So these are actually situational awareness. This is why now it is actually then important to fly with an observer. We're going to be talking about the role of an observer later. So it is an observer just right away to observe for you, to actually give you that third or fourth eye. You don't have a eye at the back. Maybe you need somebody to actually, look at your back, or for you. That's why you actually need an observer on the field to help you. You do not see that tree. Oh, there's a little branch there. Oh, there's a high tension wire there, or there is actually a tiny wire there. There is actually a whatever things happen on the field that you actually do not expect. So yeah, thank you so much, Samuel. Yeah, I think I'll just put it up. Yeah, thank you so much. Samuel said insight, and foresight. That also summarizes the past, present, and future. So what has happened, what is happening, and what might happen. Thank you so much. That is very, very important for us to have. Ensure not to lose awareness and situation around environment. That's your responsibility. That's your responsibility to actually to actually be aware. To be aware. That's your responsibility as a pilot. In I think my second slide, I mentioned that you are actually responsible for the pilot. Okay. Now, while we are actually doing all of this, communication is actually very important. Communication in terms of crew management, communication is very, very important. Crew management, ensuring that you have a safe operation, communication is very, very key. And these examples are actually not exhaustive, but they are actually what is actually basic. We have more in-depth training later or perhaps after this. So communication. Communication, I think from my layman understanding, it means exchanging information, feedback, receiving feedback, and also giving feedback, receiving feedback and also giving feedback, or getting an information across. So as a pilot in command, it is important to actually maintain good communication flow with your crew or perhaps third party during operation. With your crew or people that are actually not under your control, or you do not actually, they were actually not initially at, within your operation. You want to actually, as much as possible, you want to actually brief. That's where briefing actually comes in. Briefing comes in when when you want to fly. Oh, you actually got into a community, let's say XYZ community, and you want to actually map the village for what reason, what rural, or it's a rural environment. You are sent by the World Bank, or you are sent by the government or local government or whatever government, or an NGO with authority, to actually provide them with data about the number of houses in that environment, what are the infrastructures that they have with this, how many wells, schools do they have, or storage facilities that they have, where can it be situated, some things that there may be a reason for them sending you, or for you actually trying to collect data. So, but before you won't just go there and just like take off and do it. You need to actually do proper communication, briefing with the stakeholders on ground, with the people on ground. They are actually people on ground. For you to actually have a safe flight, for you to actually have because anything can happen. Not like people can actually run where it's like what is flying over me, I don't know if this is cheat or whatever, by this. So you need to actually. Oh yeah, I'm coming there. Yes. So you need to actually have a clear communication, a brief with the stakeholder. This is what I'm here to actually, or what we are here to actually do. We are sent like this. This is what we want to do with this and this and this and this and this information that we want to actually collect. This is to your benefit. Whatever engagement, the brief might not just be brief. It might take days or chain of communication for you to actually get it there, but you need to actually ensure that. And when you want to actually take off too, perhaps you need to go and see the ballet, or the ballet needs to actually be around, or send somebody a representative. When you want to take off, hello, good morning, good afternoon. Briefing them, this is what we are actually here to do again. We're actually carrying out this flight operation to map this village for this and for this, for this and for this. From our assessment, we're supposed to have a safe flight. Today it's not windy. It's not going to be raining, and we hope that we have a successful operation. Blah blah blah. Keeping them abreast and also positive. So this is part of the brief. And part of the brief also, like in case of pilot capacitation, the observer or somebody beside you can. This is what you are going to be doing in case of pilot capacitation. In case of this, that you can be able to brief them very well before commencing the mission. And there was something I actually mentioned during our practical on the field for those who are actually were actually available. I said it is actually optional for you to fly. Very, very compulsory for you to actually land, and not to be land, but to land safely. So you need to actually know this. So but that's I digress. So, and in terms of communication, there are commands you need to do. Commands that are very, very important. Like I said, these are not actually exhaustive, but communication is always key. You want to actually start the drone, you are actually making installation. Clear props. Some of you actually, like, I would tell you, like, you need to shout. I want to hear you, like, I want to hear you 10 meters away. I want to actually hear you 15 meters away. So you need to actually be bold about it. Clear props, clear off, so that the drone is about to take off. It's about to start. You're about to harm the drone. Um, and you're saying starting, you're just communicating. You're communicating your intentions, what you're about to do next. You are predictable. You don't want to. This is not about not being predictable. You want to be predictable. You need to be predictable. People that are watching you, people that are listening to you. Okay, you're not just like, what just happened right now? When you are communicating, we know that anything that you did not communicate, it means that something is actually happening. We can also be able to get that communication to, or get that feedback. So communication is very, very key. So when you want to take off, you're saying taking off, UAV taking off. You're checking the drone. When you check the drone, and you actually take, you can be able to say, oh yeah, save. The drone is good to go. Continue. Okay. And when you also want to land, you also have to notify. Oh, UAV descending, UAV landing. So when it's descending, and when you're actually even piloting the drone, you're actually moving to the left, you're moving to the right. Somebody, maybe an observer or somebody beside you, I'm going to the left now. This is where the drone is going. Even if it's autonomous operation, that the drone is actually programmed to actually move at a quite fast. Okay, this is what and what. This is how the drone is going to fly. This is where it is going next. That situational awareness is actually very, very important for you to, not only for you to afford that communication. Communication is very, very important for others to actually be aware of your intention, and so that they can be guided, so that they can, in case there is actually a malfunctioning, maybe your battery actually got damaged in here, or something like that, an emergency is actually happening. So let's talk about the emergency action. Some of you, when you're actually on the track, I mentioned about secondary, primary and secondary topo. Topo means takeoff and landing point. Takeoff and landing point. So, but let's first deal with aircraft fire. Aircraft fire in flight. So, for example, your drone can catch fire. Possible, yeah. Maybe the battery actually has most of the time from the power system. The drone can actually catch fire in the air, or moving smoke. You might still be able to have control while it is still moving smoke. Taking out smoke, in the air. But as far as you are able to see that you need to quickly say UAV failed. That's really, UAV failed. You need to actually make that call. UAV failed. So that anybody who is actually on that can actually take cover. It will not just fall down on them. It will not just harm them. And in case of public incursion, people that are actually not under your control, or they were not briefed, they're just excited. Hey, drone. You need to actually land at your secondary topo. Okay, so I'm talking about topo. Topo means your takeoff and landing point. So you have to have your first and the second. Your primary takeoff and landing point. But when you see that people are actually putting your primary, you need to actually have a secondary landing point, or far away, from this public information. Then you go. I want to believe that you have an observer who can be able to hold them down, and then you can land your drone and then go and address, the public or somebody who is not under your control. Low battery or voltage power loss, UV field. You're actually at critical battery level. You need to actually shout UV field. Okay. Operator incapacitation. You need to actually press that return to home button. And I hope that you are flying a drone that has the return to home button. So you need to actually use that return to home button. And that's where you can tell your observer or somebody beside you, even before you fly. This button is very, very important. in case of anything actually happens, maybe snake beats you, maybe somebody who is suffering from convulsion. Um, I can't even think more about scenarios that can actually happen, but things can happen. Okay, so you need to actually inform people, and we can actually help you press, and it's used to return to us. So the drone will intelligently return back to the home where it's actually the way it initially take off. Well, I think yeah, we're coming to the end of this. Um, I would actually okay talking about resource crew resource management in drone operations. Actually, during drone operation, it is often common that you have one more than one crew, during the operation. And in such case, um, we we can actually have like three, you can divide them into three. The remote pilot in command and the control person. The control person can actually be somebody piloting the drone, but it's not necessarily somebody who has a license to actually or the full authorization to actually be in charge of the operation. And we also have the visual observer. Now, to the what's actually the job of the remote what's actually the job of the remote pilot would actually have sorry, the pilot in command, the pilot in command. So but first, before I talk about the pilot in command, uh field resource management simply means um, the effective use of all available resources, be it human, hardware, and information. Okay, so that's why we call it field resource management. So it's just like how you can actually effectively use every available resources that you have to be it human, hardware, or so. And this would actually help you to improve decision making, delegation of tasks, and ensuring that you're actually having efficient operation. That is the goal. So it's actually very important. Now, like I said, I can classify this quickly in terms of management, or I mean, field on the field as the PIC or remote PIC, uh, the control person, and also the observer. So the PIC is actually somebody in charge of the flight operation. Is a person responsible for that operation, or is the accountability manager, if you want to actually say, or call it in another way, somebody who is accountable for that flight operation. That's actually to ensure that we have a safe and effective operation as possible. So your remote PIC, that's pilot in command, may actually be the person who, it's actually the person who the remote pilot license and actually oversees the activity of other. So you also have to be the person to brief you as the PIC. You have to be the person to brief uh, the, the people around about the operation, what you're about to do. So he is actually in charge to actually do that. So, and somebody who is actually continuing, it's not necessary that the pilot in command is the person actually, controlling the drone. Let's say if I have, we have training lab Saturday, somebody who on the field. So, to you, you are actually the controlling, so you're not the pilot in command. So, but you are actually a student, so you are actually the person controlling or the control person. I would like to capture that too. So yeah, somebody can actually be trained like that. Can actually be a certified pilot, but not a pilot in command. So you have to listen to the command of the PIC. The PIC have the authority over that operation, and it's also accountable for that operation. Okay. So the person handling the drone is the personal, handling of flying the drone. To, maybe for what purpose. So And we also have the visual observer. The visual observer is somebody who helps us to maintain situational awareness or better situational awareness, which actually checking for an recurring aircraft, depth, um, obstacles, and just giving you information. Oh, gentle over there, climb up, move to the left. Perhaps where your eyes cannot actually see very clearly, or you are not so sure. They can actually be an extended eye or first eye. So basically, that is what it is mostly common to actually have visual observer, so observer, depending on the flight operation. You can have more than one visual observer, depending on the complexity of the job, depending on the skill available to you. So it's actually very, very important for you to have. So yeah, you also have to ensure that you have the right equipment, resources. If you're on the field on Saturday, we have safety, safety cones, landing pads, safety tapes, to just ensure that we have, if nobody's incurring, nobody's disturbing, things that you need to actually have. So, yeah, I think we can begin to receive questions now. There's one more thing which I have not actually addressed fully, which I'm going to address later, which is the checklist. Checklist. I hope that Tawanda will be able to take that tomorrow. Yeah, let me begin to answer your question. Is that fine? Okay. Hmm. Thank you so much, Today. Okay. All right. I'm just trying to scroll through the comment section and see. Hmm. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Trying to look through the questions. Hmm. Yeah. I know there's going to be a lot of there's a lot of questions here. They're flying over crowded people. I see drones flying over people at gatherings and in buildings. Yeah. But fact is that it's actually illegal. It's actually illegal. Only these they have content. Content I mean people flying inside building. I want to believe that you've actually done your risk assessment and people are actually inside the building are actually under your consent. Maybe they find something or they and you have actually put your aircraft in place. Maybe an aircraft with propeller guards and it's actually not more than 250 grams. You know, open range. You've been able to analyze all of these things to ensure that in case of a KCC, like we used to say, you can be able to put things in order. But flying indoor is not appropriate. Uh, Over people, it's not appropriate. It's not legal. I would say it's not actually legal. So you need to actually pay attention to safety conduct. So thank you so much, Samuel, for actually highlighting that. Thank you so much. Hmm. Samuel is asking, what's the standard fuel needed for a drone flight? I mean, the number of people. What's the standard? Like I actually explained, you can actually oftentimes there are solo operations, mhm, but it's always good to actually have an observer. There are solo operations that maybe you've assessed the environment or for educational purpose or whatever. Even for educational purpose, you might need observers. It's beneficial. So I cannot say this is actually the standard. Or from what I actually explained, we can actually have several scenarios. We can actually have even more than one or two observers, during a flight operation. It might actually be necessary. to actually have. So standard, I cannot actually put a number to standard, but you know the standard, you know what is actually required to actually have safe operation. I think that's actually the best. You as a pilot, you as somebody who is obsessed with safety, you want to actually ensure that everybody is safe and you are on top of the game. Yeah, I saw this your comment. Okay. Yeah, those are captured data, of course. I mean, as much as it is actually images, images can actually be data. So, counting of number of houses. There was actually, this is not related to agriculture, but it can actually relate it to agriculture. There was actually a bomb blast some time ago uh, in certain place. And before, so the pilot was able, in that environment, that actually had the information, I mean, drone data, about that community before and after that bomb blast. It was actually, that can actually be very important data for for intervention, for assessing the level of impact. So yeah, it can actually be very, very important. The number of houses impacted, what's the level of damage, the severity, what are the resources available, just like this, you can actually know with drones, or you can actually consolidate more with drone technology. Um, hmm, okay, I'm trying to, okay, I think this is the question. Mm, yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you. That's that understanding of the environment, the community you are actually kind of, you know, if they allow for drones, if they don't allow for drones, and some people it can actually be strange to them, and that's why you need to actually carry them along. It's strange to them; they can actually run mad or run. I don't know how best to actually run away and wound themselves. You know, run into the jungle that the wild animal can actually attack them, or they can run and collide. I mean, have accidents with the car approaching and all that. So this is why briefing is actually very important. Yeah, thank you so much. God bless you too, Samuel. Let me have another question. Flying Jones in Canada. Okay. As usual, Ola, thank you for the question. Flying in Charlotte area. What do we do if we are to use drones for taking pictures or videos of the house? Or during traffic control using drones? I believe that you might have actually have the authorization, and maybe by the government. Government will put the rules there, actually sending it. Normally, should not be doing that. Mm, Normally, should not be doing that or avoid doing that. So, because of the risk actually involved. Okay. I think we have come to the end of the question. Thank you so much, actually, for joining today. I hope you had a wonderful one. Tomorrow, I join Tawanda. Tawanda Chimbakwe is actually, uh, you would actually be listening to one of the leaders in the African drone industry. He's called the African drone professional. He, 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 he's a fast professional. So try to join us tomorrow. I believe that Joseph has already, or the administrator has already shared information about the time for tomorrow. It's going to be 10 a.m. GMT plus 1 or WH. So Tawanda is actually one of my senior colleague and mentor in the industry. He actually, I would say, it was my guide about 4 years ago. In the drone industry. So please come around, listen to him. He's going to be talking about becoming a certified drone professional. Yeah. So there is actually more to actually becoming a professional. So like I've always been emphasizing. So Tawana is going to be hitting the nail on the head tomorrow. So do well to actually join. He is an amazing speaker, international speaker by the way. He's international speaker, across the US, Europe, and somebody I believe you look up to listen to. Yeah. So guys, there's no further question. I would say to have a lovely day. And don't also forget, we also have a class Saturday, from building class. So where we will be, you know, using a fixed, not even a fixed wing, can actually, as time permits us, we'll be building fixed wing drones. Yeah. So thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate the time. Yeah. Johanna Daniel. Yes, there is after this um, thing, you can actually have access to rewatch the the recording for this section. So do not actually worry about that. So either you are watching on YouTube or on LinkedIn, you would have access to this recording. So yeah, this is you consider it as a public good. So have a good one, guys. Thank you so much.